Welcome, everybody, here to the Cayman Island Classic here on the Cayman Islands, Georgetown in the Cayman Islands. I'm Scott Colotti along with Kyle Yeomans. The second day of the Cayman Islands Classic, and it should be a good one. We have Loyola taking on Colorado State, the Ramblers against the Rams, and both these teams coming off of tough losses yesterday. And Colorado State first, Kyle, they had a tough one against New Mexico State. They were going well for a while. New Mexico State overcame them in overtime, and it was one of those situations where Colorado State was going back and forth, and they were led by their big guy, Nico Carvacho.
Yeah, you're exactly right. A 16-point deficit early held New Mexico State to 1 of 9 shooting in the three-point line in the second half. However, that New Mexico State bench outscored Colorado State 40-18. Colorado State battled back in the second half after that 16-point deficit. Forced overtime, but scored just 10 points in the extra period. Jabari Rice went off for New Mexico State as the Aggies got 12 from their big guy, and there's Nico Carvacho, the difference maker for Colorado State. 18 points, 15 of those coming in that second half where the Rams were able to kind of erase that deficit. And then on the other side, Loyola versus South Florida yesterday. The Ramblers jumped out to an 8-0 lead and they held that lead until about 8 minutes left to go in the second half. South Florida forced 26 turnovers on the game. Loyola gave up the ball 20 times in the second half alone, and they held Loyola to 5 of 14 shooting in the second half. But Cameron Krutwig is definitely the big man down low. This is going to be an unbelievable battle between two old-fashioned sinners. 16 points, only 4 in the second half for Krutwig yesterday on 1 of 4 shooting. It wasn't exactly what you would expect from Krutwig because he came out firing, had 10 points almost immediately to start the ball game, but that's not the case. He was really slow in that second half.
Yeah, looking at the two big guys, Nico Carvacho. So you look at the schedule here today, Colorado State and Loyola here in our first game. Coming up next, New Mexico State, the first winner against South Florida, then Old Dominion Washington State in the 5 o'clock Eastern time matchup, and George Mason and Nebraska. That should be a good one to close out the night, 7:30 Eastern time. It is a Cayman Island Classic, the 2019 version. Loyola taking on Colorado State. We'll have it for you next on Flow Sports. Welcome back here to the 2019 Cayman Islands Classic here in Georgetown in the Cayman Islands. Scott Colotti along with Kyle Yeomans, the crew here at Flow Sports. Day number 2, and looking forward to a good one. It should be an outstanding contest. Couple of grinded out teams going at it one-on-one. You got Carvacho and Krutwig going at it at center. Loyola today in the home whites, Colorado State in their road greens once again, and the ball is controlled by Loyola, and they will have the ball first. It's Marquise Kennedy out there along with Hall. That is Tate Hall. He is number 24. Cameron Krutwig is number 25. Then you got Lucas Williamson, number 1. And also out there is Ahir Ugwak, the transfer out of New Mexico. And there's a two-pointer for Williamson. It's up and good. And Loyola draws first blood.
And Williamson, an individual that really kind of got off to a hot start to the season, really started to emerge offensively. And yesterday looked good in the first half, but it was the second half where he really kind of struggled. Finished with 6 points, but 4 of those coming in that first half.
Here's Krutwig guarding Carvacho. Carvacho a little hook, and he couldn't get it. The rebound grabbed by Loyola State Hall. Here comes Kennedy, 2-0. Kennedy pulls up for a long three, and that is going to be off the mark. The rebound, Chris Martin. Martin on the left wing to Thistlewood. Here's a drive. They'll get it back out to Martin. Good head and shoulder fake. He drives inside. They steal it away. It's Uguak. 3-on-1. Uguak, the middleman, all the way. Put it up and too strong. And a rebound grab by Isaiah Stevens.
I think a pace like this early really favors Loyola. Colorado State wants to slow things down, but that's not slowing it down at all.
Thistlewood with the three, and Thistlewood, a 40%er from three-point range, drains it 3-2. Colorado State with its first lead. Kennedy was a strong offensive player yesterday. They drive it inside, and Uguak with the two-handed flush. Uguak with a couple. And Loyola back with the lead. Here's Stevens on the left wing. Get it to Carvacho, looks inside. Thistlewood fighting for it, tips it to his own man. It's Martin on the drive. They'll swing it into the corner, get it out to Stevens. They didn't get a shot off. Good defense, Loyola.
Yeah, just lost real look at the shot clock that time. Most of the time, that ball was on the baseline. You can't see the shot clock from underneath the bucket. The only people on the Colorado side that knew exactly where it was headed was Thistlewood and Stevens, but even Stevens made that extra pass because he knew he didn't have an open look.
4-3 in favor of Loyola. They have the basketball. Williamson out top, gives the ball to Hall, swings it to Uguak. Carvacho, a good defender, trying to bottle up Krutwig. That is an outstanding matchup on both ends. Here's a shot blocked. The shooting, it was Kennedy. He got his own rebound. It's off the mark, and the rebound grabbed by Kendall Moore. Here comes Colorado State. They throw it to Thistlewood. It goes into the Loyola bench and out of bounds.
Nice job by Hall there, and that's something that I think Loyola has an advantage of today is you have a couple individuals that are skyscrapers in the middle, whether it's Krutwig or Hall. There you see the tough contested defense from some smaller defenders like Martin and Moore on that Colorado State side.
Yeah, they may be smaller, but they're all aggressive. Here's
Absolutely.
Carvacho, good move on Krutwig, inside, scoop it up, too short, and Krutwig got the best of it with the rebound. And Carvacho was rubbing his eyes, maybe got hit in the face, but he's okay. And here comes Kennedy for Loyola. This is any indication on what kind of game this is. It's Krutwig on Carvacho, hooks it up and in. This is like a heavyweight fight.
Yeah, you're going back and forth, lots of speed and lots of pace. That's the thing that I think Colorado State wants to avoid. There you see him slowing it down a little bit, looking for a screen, maybe a pick and roll. Their one shot that they got off that really was a good look was the Thistlewood three. Other than that, they really haven't had any.
Stevens gobbled up. Williamson guarding him. This is Martin. Good give to Carvacho, and he lays it up and in. So the big guys going tit for tat on each end, getting a bucket. And Loyola now up by one with the ball.
I'm going to have to give credit to Kennedy because he stepped over in front of Carvacho. Carvacho was almost set on flushing it down with the big body of his, and instead Kennedy stepped over with a 6'1 frame, decided to challenge the 6'11 frame. Didn't work out in terms of defensively, but it almost ended up in a poster.
Williamson couldn't get the three. Here's Thistlewood on the other end. Good steal, and they go the other way, and this is going to be a jam. Little bit of jam time for Marquise Kennedy.
Freshman just pickpocketed right off of the right hip of Thistlewood. Didn't have a chance in transition. Nice job by Kennedy and the explosion of speed heading to the bucket.
Colorado State once again down three with the ball. Carvacho, Stevens. Stevens was double teamed. Thistlewood open for three again. Good again. Well, you can't leave that guy open. He's a 40%er from three-point range. He's got two makes here today.
He didn't have a make yesterday. Was 0 for 3 from downtown, but he's 2 for 2 today, and that's really the big key.
Krutwig, oh, beautiful move, and a little 12-footer is good against Carvacho. He is crafty.
He is so crafty for a big man, and he has a lot in his arsenal. We talked about the hook shot. We talked about the spin move, using the baseline as a screen underneath. He is a old-fashioned big man, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
Thistlewood got a man in the air, wanted a three but didn't take it. The pass is tapped. Here's Stevens now taking an outside jumper, and that is good. I think that was a two-pointer. We're tied up at 10.
And had the foot on the line, and that was just because of the fancy footwork leading into that shot for Stevens. Made 6 from the field yesterday, had 17 points, which was good enough for second on the ball club.
Nice hands by Martin to knock the ball away. And we have a media timeout here on the court. 14-12 to go in the first half. It is Loyola 10, Colorado State 10. Cayman Islands Classic on Flow Sports. Welcome back here to the 2019 Cayman Islands Classic. During the break, they looked at the replay of the three-ball attempt by Stevens. At first, I thought it was a 3. They ruled it a 2, but as we'll look at the replay here, it is definitely a 3, so they have changed the score. We said it was 10-10. It is 11-10 after they reviewed the play. Foot was definitely outside the line.
Yeah, and we talked about the fancy footwork. He had that stutter step to the side and kind of opened himself up, had a step on his defender. A beautiful shot from Stevens, and he definitely had that toe behind the line. It's kind of tough that we missed it in person. He's got traffic cone colored shoes on his feet.
Right.
You'd think we would be able to pick that out of a hardwood floor like this one, but that's not the case. We got it right, though, in the break, and it's Colorado State now leading by 1 rather than being tied.
So on the court, Williamson, Ugwak, Wojcik, Krutwig, and Pipkins for Loyola. Thistlewood is out there along with Carvacho. They also have David Roddy, lightning in a bottle. We saw him yesterday. Hiron Edwards comes in. He's number 0, and right on cue gets a steal. Thistlewood, Carvacho. You notice they're guarding Thistlewood a little bit tighter now with 2 3-balls.
As they should.
Stevens, the other guy out there, had it knocked away by Williamson. He gets it ahead of the pack to Wojcik. And Wojcik on a nice finish.
Nice job by the freshman in transition that time. He felt the footsteps of Thistlewood, who's a much bigger body trailing behind him. And instead, he laid it up high off the glass. No chance for Thistlewood to lay down the block. And another nice bucket for Wojcik.
Carvacho spun a little too much traveling, and that is just good defense by Krutwig. And Krutwig, we mentioned yesterday, the old school player, the old school person. He loves 70s, 80s music. He loves 70s, 80s movies, and he plays like a 70s, 80s player.
He really does. And
kind of reminds me of Bill Lambier, although that was the late 80s.
You know, I would actually agree with that. Just kind of an old school college basketball player. I like that a lot, actually.
Just dawned on me.
Great
and
comparison.
It's a Midwestern comparison also.
Absolutely.
Illinois and Michigan. Good drive by Ugwak, and the transfer from New Mexico is showing why they have a lot of high hopes for him. All of a sudden, it's a 3-point lead for Loyola. Thistlewood on Ugwak. Ugwak, a good defender. Byron Edwards trying to get by his defender. Thistlewood gets free for three and missed that one. Good rebound by Loyola's Franklin Uganani. So Uganani, who had a little bit of action yesterday on the court now, and here's Wojcik. Tough shot. Man, he used the glass perfectly. That's old school, too.
That was tough. That was a tough shot to sink, especially with big-bodied David Roddy right up on top of him. And Wojcik able to use the contact, separate himself a little bit after bouncing to the outside, and then falling backwards, kissing it off the glass.
5-point lead for Loyola. Edwards outside. Roddy, who is Mr. Minnesota runner-up for both Mr. Minnesota in athletics and Mr. Minnesota basketball. Good shot there, a hook shot. Deshaun Thomas. Thomas, who is averaging 2.5, has 2 here today. Lead down to 3 for Loyola. They have the ball. Ugwak in the corner. Uganani. Oh, he's got a good move in there, and he fights it up short. Tough rebound by Colorado State. Edwards brings it. And he brings it out to Thistlewood. Thistlewood had a 3, didn't take it. Stevens will on a drive and scores. That was a good drive. He got the ball and immediately accelerated.
Yeah, driving and being aggressive down low, something that I don't think comes naturally for Stevens. He's more of a guy who will assist and shoot from the outside. That time decided to take it himself, use that baseline to perfection, and a nice little floater to finish.
1-point game here, 11-15. Pipkins had it knocked away, and it goes off his foot out of bounds. Once again, defense the key here. It's timeout on the court, 11-12 to play. Loyola by 1 on Flow Sports. Back here on the Cayman Islands, Scott Coletti along with Kyle Yeomans. The crew here doing a great job, and this is day number 2, game number 1. Loyola taking on Colorado State. The Ramblers with a 1-point lead over the Rams. And, you know, the offense has surprised me, Kyle, because I thought this was going to be one of those games where because of the defenses, because of the inside presence of both teams, it was going to be tough to get points, but these guys are going up and down.
Yeah, I really think Porter Moser for Loyola has done a magnificent job of setting up that offense for success, whether it's allowing Krutwig down low to be able to have some room to work with against Carvacho, 2 for 2 from the field. His shooting percentage is usually off the charts and right up in the 70-80% range. That's how good he's been. But it really, you could chalk that up to a lot of coaching as well, in the way that he's able to build his big man and then try and provide some support on the outside as well.
Loyola 8 of 14 shooting. Colorado State 6 of 9. That means there's been some turnovers here. 5 for Colorado State, 2 for Loyola. Tange, who gets his first appearance in the game, he fights it up and in. Good play by John Tange, a 6'5", 195 freshman who didn't play yesterday. He's in there today and made a presence right out of the timeout. It's a 1-point lead for Colorado State.
Coach Moser on the other side, not very happy after that one.
Krutwig down low. got it inside to another big guy as Tate Hall will go to the line.
And we talked about this a moment ago, but the embarrassment of riches in terms of big bodies for Loyola is going to pay dividends for them today. This is a Colorado State team with really outside of the Carvacho and then also the Thomas connection. They don't really have a ton of big bodies. It's a lot of guard play. You've got Roddy who can be physical, but even he isn't necessarily somebody that's big enough to go up against a 6'9 Krutwig or a 6'6 Tate Hall. Even you look at Ugwak. I mean, Ugwak's 6'7 and 225, a big wide frame. Uganani on the other side. There's a lot of big bodies that Loyola can go to, and they have to use that size to their advantage.
1 point lead for Loyola. Passes off the bankboard. Luckily, it goes to the right team. There's a layup drive. That is missed. Missing it was Tanjay, and here comes Loyola the other way.
Almost got the assist from the rim. Hit right off the left part of the iron and then skipped right into the hands of Colorado State.
Hall open for three. That's good. He got open. He made him pay. So Tate Hall, 33% from long range. Got the three ball. And timeout is called. It's going to be a 30-second timeout here as you see him getting wide open, Kyle.
And that's something that Tate Hall really does well from the field is finding his way open from the defense. And yesterday didn't necessarily have the game that you would expect out of a man that does average about 13 points per game. And he was held to just the 10, but the biggest number was 3 of 7 from the field. Had a couple of threes late in that one, but it was really kind of after things had already been wrapped up. So a nice job by Hall trying to get going early here, and you could tell almost automatically that Nico Medved in his second season with Colorado State was wanting to talk things over because he saw Tate Hall sneak his way open. He doesn't want to let that happen again.
Yeah, Nico Medved, a very good coach. He was an assistant under Tim Miles during the glory days of Colorado State from around 2009 to 2013. They had a lot of success. Moby Arena was rocking at Colorado State. This is Thomas inside. Thomas gets the ball to Tanjay. Now the three ball. That is off the mark by Roddy. Roddy doesn't take a lot. Under 10% from three-point range, and you can kind of see why. That's not his forte. Ball in the corner was to Loyola's Kennedy. Kennedy double teamed in the corner. This is Krutwig. That head and shoulder move kills everybody, and you see why as he lays it up and in. Once he gets you up in the air, it's history.
Yeah, he was able to split the defense that time, went right through a double team, and it really made it look easy attacking the left side of the bucket. And that's one thing that he does well. He can't just go to one side. He can use it both ways.
Three ball splash for Kendall Moore. Kendall Moore, a 45% from three-point range, and he made that look easy.
Yeah, he absolutely did. Just stuck behind the defense again. Right up at the top of the key and then drained it. First look that he's had today. First shot, first make.
Krutwig kicks it out to Tate Hall. Hall can't get the three. Edwards clears, and here he comes. Edwards caught no man's land. Tanjay, who has 2 points already. First appearance of the tournament for Tanjay. Thomas gets Krutwig in the air, and Krutwig gets the rebound.
That's
Carvacho
unfortunate.
not out there, although he's coming in at the break.
Big freshman body using it to his advantage.
Good steal by Moore, and Moore lays it in and one. Kendall Moore averaging 7. Good balance there, just kept things going. Timeout on the court, 7:44 to play in the first half. Loyola by 1. Cayman Islands Classic on Flow Sports. Loyola with a 1-point lead over Colorado State. Day number 2 of the Cayman Islands Classic here on Flow Sports. Scott Galletti along with Kyle Yeomans. Well, Loyola shooting 58.8%. And Colorado State 60%. So great percentages on both sides.
Yeah, the shooting's absolutely been there. Good looks for both sides. And it hasn't come easy. I think both defenses are adjusting to the initial passing, and it's the ball movement that has really paid dividends for both sides. Colorado State, that time it was Moore just taking himself after a turnover and a chance to tie things up.
Moore cannot complete the three-point play. Loyola on the rebound. Ugwak back out there. Lucas Williamson to Ugwak. Wojcik out top as they move the ball around nicely again. Down to 13 on the shot clock. Welch's pass was intended for the big guy Krutwig. A little off to the side. Carvacho is back out there for Colorado State. Knocked it away. It's Carvacho along with Kendall Moore. Martin number 1. Stevens number 4.
Carvacho so disruptive defensively. Able to just get a hand right in there, and another nice play on the opposite side. You see they're going away from Carvacho. Carvacho on the left side. They float it to the right side and find Tom Welch for the bucket.
Well, the thing that he did, he also lost Thistlewood, who was guarding him tightly. Once he lost him, he had an open lane to the basket.
First look we've had of Tom Welch, freshman out of Illinois. Looked pretty good on that one.
He sure did. Stevens gives the ball to Moore. 3-point deficit for Colorado State. Martin, Carvacho, good spin on Krutwig, knocked away. Ball comes to the near side. It goes out of bounds. Would have been a 30-second violation probably anyway by the time they got their bearings. The shot clock was down to 2, but once again, great defense by Loyola.
That time Krutwig was just pestering on the far side, and Wojcik came over to help, but Richardson there as well. But really just a team effort defensively from Loyola so far. Holding Carvacho just a 1 of 3 shooting. He's turned the ball over twice and has only found his way to 2 points through the first 14 minutes of this one.
They try to get it to Krutwig. It's knocked away. Colorado State Thistlewood laid up and one. Wojcik thought he was there, and apparently he wasn't.
Euro step from Thistlewood, weaving his way down low, back and forth, and having the body control, keeping the ball high the entire time, following the turnover, picks it up. He knows, hey, I'm taking this coast to coast, and yeah, Wojcik just moving the feet, thought he was in time, but that right foot was definitely not planted just yet, and Thistlewood gets the benefit of the call, which I believe would be the right one.
Didn't get the benefit of the free throw, though. It's still a 1-point game. Loyola holds on to the lead and they have the ball. Here, Ugwak to Williamson. Ugwak can shoot the 3. They get it down the lane of Welch. Oh, beautiful move against Thistlewood twice, and he missed it anyway. Carvacho got the rebound, but a nice move by Welch.
And I think Carvacho actually got a hand on that basketball on its way up. I don't know if it would have constituted a block, but it absolutely altered the shot.
Moore for 3. That's off the mark. Krutwig another rebound. Foul in the backcourt, and that will be team foul number 2 on.
That was actually just out of bounds.
Out of bounds. Okay, no foul.
Diving for the loose ball was Krutwig, and I wasn't sure if it originally was off of a Colorado State player or off of one of the Ramblers for Loyola. Get another great look at it here off of the miss. Right on that baseline, and yeah, I guess it did touch Krutwig, and he thought, hey, I've got one last effort at this, but it's going to just be Colorado State ball on the baseline, no foul.
Great job by the crew once again as it goes in to Stevens.
Williamson not allowing any space for Stevens on the perimeter.
3 ball by Moore, nothing but twine. Kendall Moore, sophomore out of Danville, Illinois.
And he did that with Jalen Pipkins right in his face. Nice job by Kendall Moore. Contested 3 from downtown.
Pipkins with a three, that's off the mark. Martin with the rebound. Martin knifes his way through traffic, gets it down to Carvacho, hooks it up too strong, and Hall will clear it.
A little out of control that time for Carvacho. That pace, once again, not exactly what you would want unless Colorado State can open up a three in transition. That's not what they had.
Thistlewood knocked it away. They get the layup by Moore on the other end. Great transition by Colorado State. Timeout on the court. 4:44 to play in the half. It's a 30, so we'll keep it here. And Colorado State starting to do it with defense, Kyle.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's Kendall Moore. He has been impressive so far. This one knocked away initially by Thistlewood, and then Moore in transition had an outlet pass. He could have dumped it off to Chris Martin, who had camped down in the corner. Actually, it was Stevens in the corner, but Moore takes it himself, and Moore has been the catalyst for this Colorado State squad. 10 points, 4 of 4 from the field, including 2 of 2 from downtown. Has had a steal, a rebound. He's doing it all over the floor. He's been so slippery, so fierce whenever he has the ball in his hand. And we talked about yesterday how he sparked that comeback win against Loyola Marymount earlier in the week. Then he turned around yesterday and really sparked a comeback for Colorado State against pretty stout New Mexico State squad that we'll see a little bit later. And here, maybe instead of sparking comebacks, he's sparking a run that can distance themselves if you're Colorado State.
Loyola now will try to answer. You see Jalen Pipkins waiting to inbound the ball. Tate Hall in the front court.
Roddy back in the ball game for Colorado State as well. A notable check-in with the impact he had yesterday.
Ball guarded outside by Roddy. Gets by him, and Roddy will get the foul. He got his hand on the ball, but I think he got him with the body first.
Well, looked like a lower body foul, and Hall, got caught up a little bit with Roddy on the shot. Another good look here.
Yeah, there's the bump right there. The block was clean, but the foul was actually whistled before that.
Yeah, I think it was the bump that initiated the whistle. If it wouldn't have been a whistle, though, that would have been an impressive block from Roddy. Would have landed right in his lap and most likely been Colorado State ball.
Hall can't get the free throw. Colorado State's bench to our left. Tate Hall will put it up and in. 29-26 in favor of Colorado State. Loyola had the lead much of the first part of the ball game. We have 4:12 to play, and that's an offensive foul. Drawing the charge there nicely, Paxton Wojcik, freshman out of Charleston, South Carolina. It's a heck of a play by a freshman.
Not to mention, that's the second time he's taken a hit from a bigger frame today. Earlier, he was called for the block as he was trying to take a charge on a Colorado State player down low. This time, he does get the feet set, get over in time, and then is able to flop to the floor.
Hall to Aganani, and Aganani scores. I like the way Aganani moves around to try to get open.
And he hasn't seen a ton of minutes in the tournament so far. A little bit of time yesterday, and he's been sporadically in today. But I agree, he does space the floor quite well, and it provides a challenge for Carvacho.
Moore. This is Martin. Martin with the green shoes. Stevens, and he gets a two. Stevens in the corner.
One of the best
He's
ways.
got, I guess, the orange shoes, and Colorado State's alter ego. They used to be the Aggies, and they wore orange.
It's a throwback. I doubt he was thinking about that when he put those shoes on today.
Good steal by Hall, and he flushes it down.
That was a steal turned into a steal. Instead of a turnover going the other way, Colorado State muffed it back up. And it landed right into the hands of Hall. He had a clean look at the basket. Nice job. Loyola going back to man-to-man after they were in the zone last time.
Carvacho fouled by Aganani trying to throw it down. So we'll have free throws for Carvaggio. It's a media timeout right now. 2:49 to play in the first half. Colorado State with the 1-point lead. Cayman Island Classic on Flow Sports.
First built in 1780, Pedro St. James was the largest building in the island's then capital of Boddentown. Now a National Historic Site where you can explore 7 beautifully landscaped acres, stunning ocean views, artifacts, and a multi-sensory 3D movie show that will transport you back in time. Unwind, reconnect, and discover 65 acres of tropical landscape. Explore the heritage house, garden, and medicinal patch and learn how Caymanian people lived in days of old. In West Bay, you'll find a site consisting of rugged blackened limestone almost 15 million years old, and it's named Hell. And there's a post office where you can mail a postcard with a Hell postmark to prove you've been to Hell and back. Cayman Craft Market brings together visitors and the local artisans who create and display unique Caymanian art. Here you'll find items made from leather, thatch, wood, shells, Caymanite and black coral. And you'll be able to see local artisans at work making crafts from the local materials.
Back here in the Cayman Islands, Scott Galletti and Kyle Yeomans as Nico Carvaggio had a lane, tried to throw down a dunk, and he was fouled on the play as Thistlewood would eventually feed it to Carvaggio. They'll get it back to Carvaggio here, and he thought he had it right here, Kyle, but coming in was Aganani.
Yeah, and that's what you're exactly taught to do. Don't allow for any easy buckets right up at the rim, and a nice job by Aganani getting in there, getting a hand on the basketball. Did get a hand on the right hand as well. I think if you would have just hit the basketball, might have been goaltending because it looked like it was already halfway down the hole. But a nice job by Carvaggio getting open, but Aganani making him earn it from the free throw line.
Carvaggio cannot get it on the first one. Carvaggio struggles a little bit at the line, 57.8%, averaging 15 points, 9.5 rebounds, and 2 boards. Nico Carvaggio, young man out of Frisco, Texas, redshirt senior, averaging 15 points, and yesterday 18 points, and 15 of those in the second half, 7 rebounds as well. Hall on the drive on Carvaggio, little too strong, and it's going to be a foul on Colorado State. I think Colorado State thought it was going to go against Loyola, but no such luck for them. 31-30 in favor of the Rams over the Ramblers.
I like that, the Rams and the Ramblers. I didn't even realize that. That's a good catch there, Scott.
Krutwig pulls up on Carvaggio, doesn't take it. Carvaggio, a good defender, as is Krutwig. Hole on the drive, and Carvaggio cleans the board. Here comes Colorado State. They want to run. Edwards in the corner. Welch tightly on him. Edwards got by him, gives it to Thistlewood. Thistlewood wanted a 3 but lost the ball.
I think he was trying to shove that pass right into the chest of Moore, and it looked like instead he just missed the basketball on the pass attempt.
Edwards forced the pass. Good play by Hall to steal it away. And it's Loyola now coming the other way, down by 1. Minute 48 to play in the first half. Very entertaining half goal. Good feed to Krutwig, and Krutwig scores. That was all Hall cleaning that ball into Krutwig. And Krutwig threw out a fist as he walked by us, or ran by us, I should say.
That's a well-earned bucket for Loyola and for Krutwig, so you can absolutely understand the excitement.
Stevens on the wing for 3, and he drains it.
That
must be
slide.
the shoes.
I love it. He backed away from his defender, threw a little stutter step to his right, and then settled back behind the line and then drained it from deep. That was a solid move from the freshman guard.
Krutwig, 18-footer, that's good. Well, he proves he has range. Right outside the free throw line, Krutwig hits, and Krutwig having a good half.
He didn't utilize that a ton yesterday, that 18-footer, and really the outside perimeter game. Most of what he had was in the paint. But that time, like you said, shows off the shooting touch.
And he's in double figures with 10 as driving to the lane, having it blocked was Edwards. Here comes Hall. Williamson for three. Just like that, Loyola by 3.
If
This Loyola fan base behind us is going nuts.
Absolutely, and they brought a great contingency, and if Loyola can get Williamson going, that's going to be trouble for Colorado State. He is such a natural scorer, the junior, playing in his hometown, Chicago, and really just beginning to break out. Well, he's already got his 3 to his name.
There's steal by Williamson. He does get it. He's got Welch, a 3-ball at the buzzer, just off the mark. What a way to end the half for Loyola. 37-34 is the score. It's halftime, and we'll come back with the halftime. So we will come back with more in a moment on Flow Sports.
First built in